The galaxy had always been vast, bright, and alive. Stars twinkled in every corner, planets buzzed with life, and civilizations thrived. Alien species of all shapes and sizes lived in harmony, or at least most of the time. Traders, explorers, and scientists traveled across light years, sharing knowledge and technology. Yet even in such a magnificent galaxy, darkness sometimes loomed where no one expected. It began quietly. First, a few stars blinked out. Then entire systems vanished without warning. Ships sent to investigate never returned. Panic spread like wildfire. Alien leaders held emergency meetings in massive space halls, their faces grim, their voices heavy with fear. No one understood the force that swept through the galaxy. It was not a war, not a rebellion, not a natural disaster. They had never seen anything like it. On the capital planet of the Xylar Dominion, Councillor Tarek paced nervously in his chamber. The large window behind him showed the glowing city below, but his mind was far away. Reports streamed in from distant sectors. Colonies erased, communications lost, worlds left in ruin. "If we do not act now," he said, his voice low but steady, "our civilization may not survive another cycle." The council debated. Ships, weapons, and alliances. They tried every solution known to them, but the threat adapted faster than their technology. Every plan failed. Every attack was met with a mysterious, unstoppable force that seemed almost alive. Fear gripped the hearts of even the bravest aliens. Amid the chaos, one young scientist, Lyra, studied ancient records in a dusty archive on the outskirts of the capital. She had always been curious about old legends, myths that most dismissed as fantasy. Among these forgotten texts, she found something unusual, stories of a race called humans. Humans. The texts described them as resilient, brave, and unpredictable. They had once lived across the galaxy, spreading their influence quietly. But then, centuries ago, they disappeared. Most species believed humans had vanished entirely, gone extinct, lost to time. Yet Lyra discovered hints that they might still exist. Hidden, waiting. Her heart raced as she read. Could humans be real? Could they be the galaxy's only hope against this unstoppable threat? Lyra knew she had to tell the council. She rushed to the high chamber, carrying the ancient scrolls. "Councillors," she began, placing the texts on the table, "I believe there is a way to save the galaxy. But it is unconventional," the elders frowned. "We have tried everything," one of them said. "What could possibly be more unconventional than our current failure?" Lyra took a deep breath. "The humans. They are said to possess skills, courage, and intelligence unlike any other species. They were once the rulers of galaxies, thinkers, warriors, and explorers all in one. If we can find them, if we can awaken them, perhaps they can stop this threat." A murmur ran through the chamber. Some councillors laughed nervously. Others shook their heads in disbelief. Humans were legends, myths. No one had seen one for centuries. "It is dangerous," another councillor said. "We cannot rely on stories from dusty old books. We need real solutions." Lyra's eyes burned with determination. "This is not a story. There are records, coordinates, hints scattered across the outer systems. I have located a place where humans might still exist, hidden, sleeping, waiting. If we do nothing, we will all be destroyed. If we act, there is a chance, just a chance, to save our galaxy." Silence fell. The council stared at her, unsure whether to hope or dismiss her ideas. Finally, the High Chancellor spoke, his voice gravelly with age. "Very well. Prepare a mission. We will follow your lead, Lyra. But understand this, if humans exist, awakening them is not without risk. They are unknown. We do not know what they will do or how they will react." Lyra nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and excitement. The coordinates she had discovered led to the distant, forgotten edge of the galaxy, a place no ship had visited in centuries. If humans were there, they would be in stasis, untouched by time, waiting for a moment like this. As the council prepared ships and resources, Lyra gazed at the stars. Somewhere out there, humans slept, and somewhere out there, the mysterious force grew stronger. Every day, the galaxy shrank under its shadow. Every moment counted. Lyra wondered what humans would think of the galaxy now. Would they even recognize it? Would they trust the aliens who sought their help? Or would their awakening bring more chaos? The answer was unknown. But one thing was certain. The galaxy had reached a point of no return. Either the humans would rise, or the stars themselves would fade into darkness. A shiver ran down her spine. She looked at the council chamber, then at the window showing the endless stars. The adventure, the danger, and the hope, all of it began with a single step: awakening the humans. And somewhere, far away in a hidden corner of the galaxy, the humans stirred in their sleep. Far beyond the bustling centers of the galaxy, past the glowing nebulae and empty asteroid fields, lay a small forgotten planet. It was quiet, almost lifeless, with a thin blue atmosphere and sprawling forests untouched for centuries. No alien ship had landed here in ages. No civilization had cared to look. And yet beneath the surface something slept. Deep underground, in vast chambers of smooth metal and soft light, hundreds of humans lay in stasis pods. Their bodies rested perfectly, untouched by time. Their minds were suspended in dreams, unaware of the galaxy's chaos above. Lyra's team had finally arrived, scanning the planet's surface with their advanced sensors. "They're real," Lyra whispered, her eyes wide with wonder. "The humans, they exist." The aliens on the mission ship murmured among themselves. Some were curious. Others were nervous. Humans were unknown, an extinct or mythical race, stories of whom had passed down for centuries. And now they were here, vulnerable, yet somehow different. Lyra activated the chamber doors. With a low hum, the massive gates opened, revealing rows upon rows of glowing pods. Each human looked peaceful, almost angelic, their features calm and strong even in sleep. Lyra felt a strange mixture of awe and fear. "We must be careful," she said. "We do not know how they will react when they wake." A young alien Taro stepped forward. "Wake them? Why not study them first?" he asked. "We don't know if they're friendly." "They could be dangerous." Lyra shook her head. "There is no time. The galaxy is dying. Waiting to study them will cost us everything. Humans have survived against impossible odds before. They are our only hope." With careful hands, Lyra approached the first stasis pod. She pressed the activation panel, and a soft hiss filled the chamber. The pod slowly opened. Inside, a young human's eyes fluttered open. The human looked around, alert, calm, and strangely confident. Unlike the aliens, who relied on tools and sensors, the human seemed to understand the world immediately, absorbing everything in seconds. Lyra held her breath. Can they really do this?" Taro whispered. The human stood, stretching slowly. "Where am I?" the human asked, voice clear and steady. There was no panic, no fear, just curiosity. Lyra stepped forward. "You're safe. The galaxy is in danger. We need your help." The human tilted their head, studying the aliens. "Help? Against what?" Lyra swallowed. "A force, destroying entire star systems. We've tried everything. You are our last chance." The human paused, then nodded. "Then we will try, but I will need time to understand." One by one, more humans were awakened. Each one reacted differently, yet a pattern emerged. They were fast learners, brave, and unusually adaptable. Aliens whispered among themselves. "They are different. Smarter, faster, stronger." Some of the aliens were skeptical. "Can we trust them?" one asked. "They might turn against us." Lyra shook her head. "Humans are unpredictable, yes, but that is why they survived so long, and that is why they might save us." Outside, the galaxy's threat continued its slow march. Entire sectors had vanished, and the force drew closer. Lyra knew that humans had limited time to prepare. They needed to understand alien technology, learn the geography of the stars, and plan a strategy, all in mere days. The humans adapted quickly. They studied the ships, the weapons, and the maps with intense focus. Some asked questions the aliens had never considered. Others trained in simulations, mastering tactics that even veteran alien commanders had overlooked. Taro watched them, still unsure. They might actually work," he muttered. Lyra smiled faintly. "Not might. They will." But even as the humans learned and grew stronger, tension filled the chamber. Some aliens remained suspicious, whispering fears of rebellion or chaos. Humans were powerful, yes, but unpredictable. Could their strength turn into danger? Could their bravery lead to mistakes? In the deepest chamber, one human studied the star charts carefully. "The threat is not random," the human said quietly. "It moves with intelligence. We must understand its pattern before it reaches the core systems." Lyra nodded. "You can do it. We believe in you. And so the humans began their work studying, learning, preparing. The aliens watched in awe and uncertainty. Something ancient and forgotten was stirring again, something the galaxy had long feared and long hoped for. Somewhere in the galaxy, the unstoppable force continued its march, unaware that its greatest challenge was awakening. Lyra's heart pounded. The humans had awakened, and with them hope returned, but so did questions. How would the humans act? Would they accept the aliens' guidance? Or would their arrival change everything? The answer was uncertain, and that uncertainty was part of the danger, and part of the hope. The humans were awake. The chambers of stasis were empty now, and the underground planet buzzed with activity. Ships were being prepped. Equipment was checked. Maps of the galaxy spread across holographic tables. Aliens watched in awe as the humans moved with confidence and speed, their eyes sharp, their minds sharper. Lyra led the team. "We have little time," she reminded them. "The threat moves faster than we imagined. You will be the first to see it. You must understand it and stop it if you can." The first mission was small but crucial. A single scouting ship, led by humans, would travel to a nearby system under threat. The aliens who accompanied them were tense. This was the moment to see if the humans were truly as capable as the legend said, or if awakening them was a grave mistake. The ship launched smoothly, engines glowing, cutting through the darkness of space. Inside, humans studied every control, every sensor with intense focus. Unlike the aliens who followed pre-programmed procedures, humans improvised, finding faster, cleverer ways to navigate and detect anomalies. "Captain, we're approaching the system," an alien navigator said nervously. One of the humans, a tall figure with calm blue eyes, leaned forward. "Scan for the anomaly pattern. Focus on its movement, not just its destruction. There is a rhythm to this chaos." The alien turned to them, astonished. "A rhythm? It's just obliteration." The humans shook their head. "Nothing in the universe is random. Patterns exist. You just need to look closely." The ship entered the system. Planets were shattered, moons shattered into fragments, debris floating like a deadly storm. The mysterious force was here, and it was intelligent. Suddenly the sensors screamed. A massive energy wave approached. Aliens panicked. "We can't escape it," one yelled. The human captain calmly analyzed the data. "Brace for impact, but follow my directions. Adjust shields to deflect, not absorb. Aim for the gaps, not the center. Trust the pattern." The ship shook violently as the energy wave hit. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the aliens clung to their seats. But the humans, with precise timing and quick decisions, guided the ship through safely. The aliens stared, speechless. They survived," one muttered. "They understood it," Lyra said quietly over comms. "They saw what we could not." Once the system was stabilized, the humans began mapping the force's trajectory. Using unconventional methods, they predicted its next moves, showing the aliens paths to avoid destruction. Aliens argued among themselves. Some still feared humans. Others began to hope, but the humans did not stop there. They discovered a pattern, a flaw in the force's movement. "It reacts to predictability," one human said. "It anticipates standard defense measures. But if we act unpredictably, we can fight it." Lyra's heart raced. Humans were not only brave, they were inventive, resourceful. Beyond anything the galaxy had seen in centuries, yet even as the humans planned, chaos erupted. A scout ship carrying alien reinforcements was ambushed by fragments of destroyed planets, hurled violently by the mysterious force. Explosions lit the void. Alarms screamed. Aliens froze in fear. The humans acted instantly. They coordinated the escape, guiding the scattered ships through narrow paths between debris. Where aliens saw danger, humans saw opportunity. Where aliens panicked, humans acted decisively. By the end of the mission, the humans had saved the surviving ships, gathered critical data, and returned safely. The alien commanders stared in disbelief. They are extraordinary," one said. Lyra smiled faintly, pride and anxiety mixed in her gaze. "This is only the beginning. They understand, adapt, and fight differently. The galaxy hasn't seen this kind of resilience in centuries." Still, the tension remained. Some aliens whispered in fear. Humans were powerful, yes, but unpredictable. Could they control them? Could they be trusted to follow orders? The humans themselves did not boast. They were focused, studying every detail, learning from every encounter. They trained for the next mission, preparing strategies the aliens could barely understand. Their minds worked like engines, fast, precise, and creative. As the galaxy's threat drew closer, the humans' reputation spread quickly. Alien colonies that had already faced destruction received messages of hope. Humans are here. They will fight. They will survive. But the humans knew the truth. They were only beginning. The mysterious force was larger, stronger, and more cunning than anything they had yet encountered. One human captain looked at the stars, eyes narrowed. "This is bigger than we imagined," they said softly. "But we will face it together." Lyra's heart pounded. The humans were alive. They were awake. And for the first time in centuries, hope returned to a galaxy on the brink of destruction. The humans had proven themselves. The aliens who had doubted them now watched with a mixture of awe and caution. Yet the galaxy's threat was far from over. The mysterious force was no longer moving aimlessly. It was converging on the central systems, destroying everything in its path. Time was running out. Lyra called a council in the largest surviving station. Alien leaders from multiple civilizations gathered. Humans stood among them, calm and focused. Maps and data projections filled the room, showing the destruction trailing behind the force. One human, standing tall and confident, pointed at a series of blinking markers. "This is its path," they said. "It is predictable in pattern, but adaptive in speed. If we want to stop it, we must act unpredictably, strike where it does not expect us." An alien general leaned forward. "Strike with what? Our fleets are barely enough to defend ourselves. One wrong move and we are all destroyed." The human smiled faintly. "We do not fight like you do. We do not rely solely on strength. We use creativity, strategy, and adaptation. We turn the unknown into opportunity." Lyra felt a surge of hope. The humans' approach was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. They did not panic. They did not follow rules blindly. They analyzed, learned, and improvised. The plan was bold, a coordinated attack on multiple fronts. Humans would lead strike teams to disrupt the force's energy cores, while alien fleets provided support, following the humans' unconventional tactics. It was risky. If they failed, billions would die. The humans trained the alien crews, teaching them new maneuvers and strategies. They ran simulations, corrected mistakes, and adapted to every unexpected scenario. Alien commanders watched, sometimes in disbelief, as humans suggested moves that seemed impossible, yet worked perfectly in simulations. Taro, still cautious, approached Lyra. "They are incredible," he said quietly. "But what if we fail? Even with humans, the force is massive. Can we survive?" Lyra looked at the humans. "They are not just strong. They inspire. They show others what is possible. If anyone can change the outcome, it's them." Days passed. Ships were prepped. Weapons charged. Humans and aliens moved in tense coordination. Finally, the day came. The first strike fleet, led by humans, jumped into the system where the force had been predicted to strike. Immediately, chaos erupted. The force reacted faster than expected. Massive energy blasts tore through space. Alien ships struggled to adjust. But the humans adapted instantly, coordinating movements with precision and calm. They guided alien fleets, dodging blasts, predicting the force's attacks. One human squadron targeted a critical energy core. "Move to the left. Now fire in sequence," the human commanded. Ships obeyed. The sequence worked. The energy core destabilized. A shockwave rippled through the force, momentarily slowing it. Aliens cheered, but there was no time to celebrate. Another section of the force moved unpredictably, threatening to destroy a nearby planet. Humans reacted immediately, devising a daring maneuver to divert the force without losing any ships. Their strategy worked and the planet survived. Lyra watched, amazed. The humans' tactics were unorthodox, daring, and brilliant. Aliens began to believe, not just in human skill, but in their resilience and courage. Yet danger loomed. The force was still massive, still intelligent. One human captain turned to Lyra, eyes determined. "We can't just defend. We must find its core, its center of intelligence." "That is where we strike next," Lyra nodded. "And if you fail?" The human smiled faintly. "Then we fail. But we will try, and we will not give up." The fleet advanced deeper into the chaos. The humans led with bravery and precision. Alien ships followed, inspired and cautious. Every move was calculated yet flexible. Every attack unpredictable yet coordinated. As the force reacted to the human strategy, cracks began to appear in its structure. Energy flows destabilized. Fragments of destroyed ships and planets shifted in ways that favored the human-led maneuvers. For the first time, the unstoppable force seemed vulnerable. Lyra felt her heart race. The turning point had come. Humans were not just fighting. They were changing the battle itself. Alien commanders who had doubted them now saw the truth. Humans were extraordinary. They were the spark the galaxy needed. But even in this moment of hope, tension lingered. One mistake could undo everything. One miscalculation could wipe out fleets, planets, or even entire civilizations. The humans knew it. Lyra knew it. The aliens, inspired though they were, still feared it. The first steps of victory had been taken. The humans had shown their power, their intelligence, and their courage. But the final confrontation with the heart of the Force was still ahead. The galaxy's fate hung in the balance. The fleet moved as one, guided by humans who had become the galaxy's beacon of hope. Every ship, every maneuver, every decision pulsed with human ingenuity. The mysterious force loomed ahead, a mass of destructive energy, moving with intelligence, unpredictable yet precise. The time for strategy was over. The time for action had arrived. Lyra watched from the command station, her heart pounding. Humans stood at the center of the operation, calm, focused, their eyes bright with determination. Alien commanders, inspired but tense, followed orders with precision. Every mind in the fleet waited for the humans to act. Knowing the fate of billions depended on them, the humans approached the force. It was larger than anything they had imagined. Energy arcs danced like lightning across the void. Fragments of destroyed planets and ships swirled around, pulled by unseen currents. Aliens hesitated. Humans did not. One human, the fleet's captain, spoke clearly. "We strike the core. Focused, coordinated, but unexpected. Follow my lead. Trust us, and trust yourselves." Shields flared, engines roared, and the fleet advanced. The force lashed out, energy waves tearing at ships. Alien vessels struggled. Humans adapted instantly, dodging, redirecting, and using the force's own momentum against it. Taro, still watching in disbelief, muttered, They're controlling it." "Not controlling," Lyra corrected. "They are understanding it, seeing it differently. That is their strength." The human captain led a strike team through the most dangerous path, where the energy pulses were strongest. Ships shook violently. Alarms blared. But humans stayed calm, calculating every move, improvising when needed. One by one, they reached the energy cores, the beating heart of the force. "Deploy disruptors," the captain commanded. Humans activated devices that sent precise pulses into the core. Energy arcs bent and twisted. The force reacted, but humans anticipated it. Every counter was met with another. Faster, sharper, smarter aliens watched, mouths open as the impossible unfolded. The unstoppable force began to falter. Sections of it collapsed inward. Energy flows destabilized, and the chaos that had terrorized the galaxy for months began to diminish. One human turned to Lyra over the comms. "We're not done yet. Focus on the central node. That is where its intelligence lies. Strike together, every ship, every pulse coordinated." Alien ships rallied. Humans guided, taught, and inspired. Energy pulses synchronized. The central node shimmered, then cracked, then imploded in a brilliant explosion. The mysterious force, vast and intelligent, finally succumbed. Silence fell. The void, once filled with destruction, became still. For a moment, no one moved. Then cheers erupted across the fleet. Aliens who had doubted humans hugged, cried, and celebrated. Humans themselves remained calm, assessing damage, tending to survivors, ensuring no loose ends remained. Lyra approached the human captain. "You did it!" "You saved billions." The captain shook their head. "We did it together. Humans, aliens, everyone. That is what makes us strong." Across the galaxy, systems that had been destroyed slowly began to recover. Colonies sent messages of relief and gratitude. The legends of humans, long forgotten, became reality. Aliens now saw them not as myths, but as heroes, leaders, and symbols of hope. Yet even in victory, humans remained humble. They understood the galaxy was fragile, life was precious, and peace was temporary. Lyra realized that the awakening of humans was not just about defeating a force. It was about inspiring courage, resilience, and unity in a galaxy that had lost hope. Taro turned to Lyra, awe in his eyes. They are not just strong. They are different, special. The galaxy will never be the same, Lyra nodded. Yes, humanity has awakened, and with them the galaxy has a chance to thrive again. As the stars shone brighter than before, Lyra looked at the humans. Their eyes reflected not just victory, but curiosity, intelligence, and determination. They had faced the impossible, adapted, and emerged stronger. The galaxy had seen what humans could do, and it would never forget. Somewhere in the depths of space, new challenges waited. But for now, the galaxy was alive, hope restored, and the humans had shown the universe what it meant to rise, fight, and prevail. Ending note: the galaxy faced doom. But humans awakened, and with them, the impossible became possible. Optional teaser: Lyra received a cryptic signal from beyond the edge of the galaxy. Something even greater than the Force awaited. And humanity would be ready.